Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, December 4th, and I thought we would trip the light fantastic and take a look back in time at the 10-year note because we have some changes coming up in the markets that we need to be aware of. So I thought we would go back and look at the genesis of the move and see what all transpired and maybe who are some market participants that became really rich, I would say inside people knowledgeable in the industry at the time, knowing what to do and when to do it. That's what I'm learning that trading is all about. It's not necessarily diving down to the tick that I've been focusing on so intently, even though I am perfecting that, which I'm very happy about, but it's basically knowing what to do and when to do it and holding a position much, much longer term for some just amazing results. So let's look at what I've got going here. First, you're going to notice that I've got a little bit of a different chart look. This is something that I'm going to be releasing for Christmas. I'm going to be releasing a momentum strategy with the Bollinger Band. So let's take a look. I've got the Bollinger Band on the top, and the basic premise is when price gets outside of the Bollinger Band, you look for a reversal either back to the middle or to the opposite band. And here we extended to the bottom of the band. Let me make sure that y'all are seeing where I'm going. Anytime it gets to the bottom of the band, then you look for a reversal to go back, in this instance with the direction of the move, which is up, obviously. So anytime it gets outside of the band, that's when you look for a reversal. And so on my momentum indicator, when you get down here, you can see right here, I'm starting to get the up momentum before the bar moves. If you permit me, I will put the I will put this on crosshair. So right here, we do get the change. Sometimes the change will occur on the bar, the red bar, but this one did occur on the white bar. So here's your change. Just wait for your momentum band, and then you're good to go for that extended period. Here's your stop below the pivot, and you just hold it for your extended move. So there's your definition of swing trading, and you can put this on any time frame. It's fractal. This is the weekly chart. But let's start at the beginning here. Like I said, we're going to trip the light fantastic and look at this way back in 2007. We had a flat bond market, just humming along, hardly doing anything, very safe, just basically barely nudging. That's what the bond market should be. Just small moves, micro moves. And then somebody knew what was happening, I would say, before June, really, I would say June of 2007, because they ran the stops. And then you got your first thrust, which should have been a huge signifying signal to anyone trading these markets. You ran the stops, and here's that first pullback. So that's the sweetheart trade that I keep telling you about. Anytime you break a level, you wait for that first pullback, and here's your entry. So here's your blue dot. So whoever got in here Here's your Sam Sneeden thrust pullback, 2 levels of support. This has never been threatened. Right there. There is the first lucky bastards who knew what they were doing, trading this, have been holding this, and check this out, up and up and up and up. And when you think it's over, nope, it goes up and 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 up. Okay, until right now, current day. And this is the very first time ever. Well, here you got a little bit. It's the second time ever. But first time that we really, I think, are going to be seeing a turnaround in this market. I think the up thrust is over. And this all happened within like very recently. So the bulk of this move has just happened very quickly. Huge amount of downside move. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to come back over here and talk about these two guys, or the group of guys and women. Hope there was a woman in there that got in down here. Now, an astute trader would have seen this next thrust pullback. It looks exactly the same as this first one. So let me get rid of the yellow box and let me put the trend lines on it again. So here's your support and here's your resistance for the second one. So you've got two identical moves that have never been touched. Both of these people are filthy rich and are probably getting out of the market if they didn't already on that first down thrust. But if they got back in, they're certainly getting out now. And then the rest of the market participants are just normal, guys like us who just try to get in and scratch out a living doing this because then it becomes, sideways, up and down. So how do you trade this with the Bollinger Bands? What I like to do, in addition to having just the knowledge that when it gets outside the Bollinger Band, look for a retracement to catch your reversals, and then, obviously you want to be catching the bottom reversals up. So anytime it approaches the bottom band, that's when you need to be looking in the market to purchase if you're going long. Conversely, if we're going short, we want to wait for it to hit the top of the band to go short. So anytime you get a bottom band touch on these higher time frames, that's when we want to be looking for entries on the lower time frame, and that's where your multi-time frame chart analysis comes in, because then you can lower your time frame to nail these entries and get a position to hold it. But really, seriously, all you have to do is just put your pivot behind that, and that's your risk. And so you want to at least hold the risk for as long as possible if you're swing trading or day trading. Not day trading, swing trading. If you're day trading, then you get out at the opposite band during the day on a smaller chart size. So, but that's the theory. And so I've put the Bollinger Bands on my momentum on my indicator. So, and that's very helpful too, because you can see divergence very, very well doing this. Right here is a divergence. Price had a higher high, momentum a much lower high. So that signifies on that high that you're going to get a reversal So you can actually exit the trade up here versus waiting for the candle to close. So that's very helpful if you see what I'm talking about. Very helpful. And you might want to wait for the momentum indicator to give you a red. Here's that instance where I was talking about where it turns red on my momentum indicator, but it's still white here. So on this white bar close, I got the red band on the momentum. So you would short at the open of the next bar. And there's your stop. So obviously we were in a very strong trend. I would be looking for these on the opposite side. So I would be looking for divergence going up and not divergence going down, but that's divergence. And so I've got the momentum indicator now showing the red and green momentum in the direction that the market is trading. So here's a momentum divergence that I'm talking about. Price came outside the Bollinger Band. So you would be looking for a green entry long. But here's where the market makers realize what everybody's doing. So they're going to come get your stop, right? They just come a couple of ticks below it to wipe everybody's stops out. And here's your divergence. So that's your signal to go long. Sometimes the divergence gets way up here at the mid-band of the of the Bollinger Band. But that's the upside divergence. And really, here's that early entry signal again. The bar is red. It's an inside bar for that week. Yet I've got a green momentum indication on that inside bar. So you would buy the open of the following week and put your stop back here. Now again, recognizing we're going back and looking historically at charts. I've got to remind you risk is the most important thing to consider, and the hypothetical performance disclaimer. This doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be 100% accurate for everything going forward in the future, but this is the pattern on these momentum divergences, and using it with a system like Bollinger Bands for entries. And so what I'm noticing now here is we have broken through both the volatility level and have thrusted down, and knowing that there is a change in structure in the government, we need to see where this likely is going to provide support so that we can take a trade off of the opposite band, a reversal if we want to go back long for a counter trend trade, since I think that we're going short right now, but or to hold it down to the support level. So let's look at some higher time frames and lower time frames. This was the weekly. The first thing you're going to notice on the yearly is we have an incredible pattern setting up for that reversal. So our yearly pattern has come all the way back. Look at that on this candle for the December. Oops, what happened? I got rid of my data. We put it on the monthly. Here we go. Sorry about that. We do show the reversal for the month of December. Now, we also see the divergence right away on the monthly. It is so obvious. A blind man could see this. We have the up higher high, and we have the lower high and momentum. So price is extended beyond the lower Bollinger Band on the momentum Bollinger and is at the zero line. So where would we look for support, resistance? Support rather? Well, first support is here, and second support is here. So I would be looking for price to continue down to this area and get that first level of support to provide that bounce back. So here we go down here. So we'll probably be able to take multiple attempts at reaching this. And do you see our divergence here setting up? We have a lower low on the daily. We have our inside bar. Remember what I said about that hypothetical performance disclaimer? And I have my up candle. So we've already got the divergence. So like I said, we're going to trip the light fantastic and make a good trade here. So I'm going to counter trend trade up to the top Bollinger Band on the daily. Given the double divergence, the lower daily divergence, lower low, higher low momentum with the monthly divergence on the upside. So the timing could not be more prevalent. So anyone who stumbled across this too late, sorry, but anyone who follows me, we know what to do with the 10-year note, don't we? Or do I need to draw you a map? Wait for the bar to break right here. Okay. Or just buy on the open. Okay. And here's your stop. We've already got our divergence. So unless it's a double divergence freak out, I'd say we're good to go. And then you can just walk this up by buying if you want to look for a place to buy on your lower time frames. Buy low, right? So buy either at the open on Monday, or if you don't get in on the open, if you don't like chasing or waiting for that sweetheart trade, so you get your volatility breakout, come back and pick it up at the bottom. 15-minute chart better for you? Or a 5-minute, 2-minute, 2-minute is the most traded chart in America, I think. Definitely be picking off these 2-minute up swings. We've already started. The 2 minutes already started the party. So as soon as you get a downswing to the 2-minute bottom Bollinger Band, that would be a good entry. Okay. So looking at our Unirinco, my favorite bar, I've got further help because, the 10-year note provides $15 and something cents of profit. So it's a very profitable instrument to trade. Here is a divergence on my Unirenko to show you that these still work. Okay, so here was your entry very, very clearly. And if you just want the trend, you want to wait for the breakout. Here's that pullback trade. This is what I'm talking about when you wait for that bottom Bollinger Band to get hit. This is the sweetheart trade. So the party has already started on Friday for the retracement. Now, how far this goes back up, I mean, clearly we're still in a downtrend. So this is a counter trend trade now for the higher time frame downtrend, because I did show you, remember, my anticipated levels that we're going to get down to down here. So this is just a short term. Move all this stuff out so you can. This is just a short term reversion to the mean trade on divergence reversal. So I would wait, either buy the open. Here's your stop. If you don't, I mean, that's a lot of risk for the bond. It's $15 and something. I don't have that kind of a purse, so I have to time my entries, and that's why I've become somewhat of an expert at doing this, using momentum and these other indicator tools to help guide me in the location that I want to trade. For instance, taking this long series, I mean, excuse me, hello, short. I didn't mean long, I meant taking this short series right here. I've set it up to just nail those, to just get in, you know. What I have found, the reason why I wanted to put the red-green on my momentum indicator, my other indicator is just all red. And yes, I know it's short, but now when it's green, I can wait either for the opposite Bollinger Band for a signal, for a higher probability entry, even though I can get a few ticks off of these. This one actually went to the bottom band in reverse. This one didn't have much room to trade. So, and this one was going up. And do you see this white? This is what I'm trying to I'm having a hard time talking, aren't I? This is going up. So you want to be careful taking a down trade in an up slope on your Bollinger midband. You want to take the down trades on the down slope on the Bollinger midband. See this down slope? Down, down, down. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I get tongue-tied sometimes. So here we go. This went above zero and then made your signal here. So that's a recross of your zero line, and that starts the new downtrend. So here's your second entry short when the indicator goes short and the slope goes short all at the same time. So this is your triple confirmation. Buy it with both hand and feet. Here's your early entry because of the recross of the momentum zero. So you'll learn to read these as well as the divergence and get ready with the slope and direction of both the Bollinger Band on momentum as well as the momentum indicator itself and the bar turns, which I've nailed clearly anyway. And here's your direction. And hopefully it's all going to match what's on your higher time frame trend, because that's really ideally the direction that we want to be trading anyway. So it all comes together. I'm going to be offering this template package. I'm working on the licensing now. So it'll take me just a little while. I want to make sure I get everything I want in this. I'm going to put some higher time frame bars on here too, to give you an option to have a band instead of just having a band here for what's currently on your screen for the volatility. I can give you a band for higher time frame volatility for your chart of choice. So anything ranging from a 2-minute to a weekly. So maybe 2-minute, 15-minute, 60-minute, daily, weekly, higher time frame, bar and volatility, both on this. So right now I've got the bars, long or short, trend, long or short, just to get the ones that are operating. And then higher time frame bars to know what the higher time frame's doing. And higher time frame volatility, which, you know, can get confusing and lead you not to take a valid trade like these breakouts. But so that's what I'm grappling with now, how much I'm going to put on this little template. But definitely, this is what you want. This is the magic. Once you understand the system, understand what you're doing, buying at the bottom Bollinger Band, and getting a signal. I might even put that on here. Bottom and top band signals. Just to give you that option. Okay. So, but I thought that that would be fun for us to look back at the bonds, because if we go back and look at this again, it's gone up so much. Oh, I don't have enough data on here now. It's gone up so much that we have a long way to come down. And definitely think that we're going to come back and test these areas here again pretty darn soon. Might even put this down here. There we go. So counter trend trade back in the direction of the overall trend, but short term, because I think that this market has flipped. So it's either going to flip at the mid band or it will make it up. I think probably the mid band, I would say, on the higher time frame, but taking it on the upper band down on the daily. Something like that. Anyway, this is a counter trend trade on divergence, and this is Julie. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great weekend.